Alrighty. Hello, good evening.
Welcome to the first episode of Queen Tone.
Queen Town.
We are your hosts, Dayna and Nina.
Yes, we are here finally with the first episode of Queen Tone. So if you've been following us, you would know, and because you found this podcast, clearly you've been following us. But just to give you a little bit of context, Dayna and I decided to start this podcast because we wanted to have a venue to share our opinions. We got the idea for the name from Jermaine Cole, aka J. Cole, who made a song about artist/activist called No Name. It's called Snow on the Bluff, and in the song, as he's basically chastising her for calling rappers to the carpet for not being active in the same communities that they rap about, he mentions he doesn't appreciate the Queen's tone. And so we decided to flip that on its head and call our podcast Queen Tone, because whether you ask us tonight or whether you like it or not, we're going to give you our opinions because we can. And so with us, you'll hear our opinions every other week. We'll be talking about different topics, everything from friendships to relationships, to Beyonce, because obviously she's going to come up. Avi, I mean, that's clear. So let's jump into it. But before we jump into it, what we're going to do is we have a few segments on this show that you'll come to learn. And so right now what we're going to do is just going to set the tone. So Dayna, how was your week?
So far it's going, it's going as best as it can, working from home. It's not a good week. It's not a bad week. It's just going.
Sounds like a pandemic.
Yeah. It's just going. A lot of the same.
What is time?
Monotony. Yeah. I can't complain though. I think we've talked outside of the podcast of how, for us in the pandemic, like it's been stressful, but it's not like stressful as far as am I working? Am I getting food? Like all of that type of stuff is just a new normal.
We're blessed in that era.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It's just a new normal of, I miss the feeling of the weekend, and my introverted ass actually misses being outside with people and having the option to say no.
Right.
So I really can't wait to, to cancel plans or say no again.
I know. I miss canceling plans.
I miss canceling plans.
So much. I was actually cleaning out my photo album and I was looking at this picture. I think it was me, you, and Simhar, our line sister. We were at some party and I was like, I feel like this is the last time I was really outside.
That was a day party in Chicago.
Yep.
Was that the same night too that we also dipped out early? I miss also leaving shit early.
Yes,
me I'm ready to go
and then
home.
Going to get food.
Going to get food and then going home.
And then going home.
Yeah.
Best time ever. Me and Dayna are notorious for doing that. Ask any of our friends.
I'm past the life of dummy missions and staying out until 4 or 5.
We're 30. Yeah, nobody's doing that.
With the exception
of
I do day
parties and I'm asleep by 8.
Right. With the exceptions of like, oh, it's homecoming, oh, it's a special weekend, whatever. Like that's cool, but that's like once a quarter, twice a year type of thing. So yeah, I definitely can't wait to leave early from things, not go to things, and feel like I'm like getting some rest from people, because I don't feel like that now. I'm actually like, I want to go. I want to miss this person. I want to go do this. I want to be out and about. I do also want to be out and about because I just moved to New York. So there's like a million things I had.
There's so many things to do in New York.
Literally,
and
so many things.
And you have not been able to experience any of it.
No, because the numbers are going up and I'm good. So I'm getting every single penny's worth of my rent.
Yeah. I mean, that expensive ass New York rent. I would hope so.
Right. What about you? How's your week going?
It's been crazy. I started a new job last week.
Yay.
Yeah, so I have been extremely busy. Like, it makes no sense. I need an assistant, but I'm my own assistant because I'm an assistant commissioner to somebody else who's more important than me. So I'm like his secretary. Not literally his secretary because I don't do administrative work.
Right.
Just to be clear.
Right, me neither.
But
I actively refuse to take notes in meetings.
Right. I'm not necessarily doing that, but I am like making sure that, whatever needs to get done on his behalf, that I'm, doing it and making sure it gets done. If the mayor needs something, like, okay, Nina, make sure that she gets this memo, blah blah blah. So it's been interesting, but it's actually kind of exciting. You know, it's a busy that excites me. I just thrive in these types of environments, so it's been good.
Does the mayor need anything? Slight fucking flex.
I know. I mean, I'm just saying, it's true. I mean, she's my boss. She's my boss's boss.
Right.
So.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, it's been a busy week. I have definitely felt very tired. I've been drinking like sugar-free Red Bull, and I drank coffee 3 times this week, or 3 times in the last week.
Are you a coffee
which
drinker?
is
Normally?
I am not.
Yeah,
I am not. I do not drink coffee at all.
Yeah.
In fact, my coffee is more like milk and sugar. But I have been drinking it because I've been so tired. But I think I just need to get in the swing of things because I was off for 2 weeks before I even started this new job. So I think I really just want to be kept and not work.
Oh, yeah.
But until that happens, here I am.
Right. I feel it.
Earning my own paycheck. The ghetto.
Right.
All right. So anyway, let's hop into this queen shit. So every week, we will be highlighting a woman, probably a black woman, and on some queen shit, just some stuff that we admire, some things that we see out either in social media or in our real lives. The topics could always change, or the subject matter could always change, but we just want to be able to highlight and uplift women who are doing queen shit. So this week we want to highlight Shar Jossell, at Shar Says So on Twitter and Instagram. She is a journalist and media personality and a personal friend. I love her to death. And she
and a fellow Capricorn.
And a fellow Cap. Okay, I'm an Aquarian. She's a Cap, and so is Dayna, so we get along. And so just wanted to highlight her because she was on the inaugural 2020 Visionaries to Watch list from Obvious Mag. And so that's really exciting. I mean, clearly she deserves it. We've been friends for years. I've seen the grind that she's been putting down, and hosting podcasts and hosting events and hosting panels and giving her commentary, which I love. If you don't follow her on Twitter or Instagram, you absolutely should. But yeah, she made the list, and I'm so proud of her. So she's on her queen shit, and so just wanted to highlight her.
Dope.
All right, let's hop into this topic.
Let's get into it. How do we actually become friends? Nina, let me hear your version of the story.
My version of the story. Well, okay, so we both went to college together. For those of you who don't know, we both went to the University of Michigan. Go Blue. And so it's funny because we grew up in Detroit, both on the same side. I mean, not that Detroit is like small, but we never knew each other growing up or were in the same circles or anything. And so when we got to college, when did we meet? Like junior year? It was junior
year, yeah.
Or sophomore. No, it was junior year of college. Again, not that many black people on Michigan's campus, but still didn't know Dayna. I just had always heard her name through like mutual friends. Yeah. Like Dayna this, Dayna that. But she was an engineer on North Campus. I was a, liberal arts student living in East Quad, which was on the Central Campus. Never actually met her, but one day we had one of our mutual friends, our line sister Rihanna. I had kind of met Dayna in passing, and I was like, oh, she seemed cool, like I want to be her friend. So I told Rihanna, I was like, what's Dayna's BBM? Like, this is back when everybody had a BlackBerry and BBM was lit.
What's your pen?
Yes. So I was like, me and Dayna are going to be friends. Tell her that, she needs to be my friend, and we need to be BBM buddies. And the rest is history. So there you go.
Yeah, that's similar to my version of it. I do remember it was when Rihanna was like, hey, Nina wants to be her friend. And I was like, I could see that. I could see that working. And I feel like it's been pretty consistent since then. Like not. Mm-hmm. I also think too, because we have different personalities but similar like styles in our personality. It's very logical.
Thought process.
Yeah, it's very.
We stay away from drama.
Yeah,
I don't do drama.
Neither do I. So it's more so like, you see this shit happening over there? Like, yeah, it's over there though.
And I will say we're very similar because I feel like in our friend group we're usually the people that people come to advice for.
Yeah. Definitely as far as getting opinions or kind of level setting.
Yeah, we're both usually that person.
People's thought processes too, yeah. And we have similar interests too. So what, that was...
Yeah, we do.
That was in 2011. So now we've been friends
so we were a hot 2021.
Yeah. And we've gone through, I think too, what helped too, and we'll kind of get into making friends and maintaining friends as adults, but we also, even as we moved to different locations, I think you moved from Michigan to LA to Chicago, and then I moved from
everywhere.
From Michigan to North Carolina to Chicago to DC
this
to
bitch
Seattle,
literally lived in every city.
New York. I've literally lived in every corner of the country besides LA, or the southern west. But yeah, and we've stayed
the southwest,
whatever,
southern west,
whatever, because it's just California, like everything else.
Yes.
Whatever.
I understand. It's cool. It's cool.
You were definitely literally like my source of sun when I lived in Seattle, because I was on a plane.
Yeah, you would just come visit me
very often. Of like, we don't even have to do anything. I just need a place to sleep, but I need some sun. I need some black people. I need something. So yeah, it was cool. And even too with the friendship, I think too, is specifically for as black women. A lot of the time it's kind of posed as black women aren't good at being friends with each other, or like weathering friendships, especially adult friendships, which isn't true at all. Like contrary to what reality TV and everything will show us. And I feel like
Love and Hip Hop will have you think that we throwing drinks in each other's face every other day, or Real Housewives of Potomac, which is it was one of my faves. They had a fight this week, Monique and what is the other girl's name? I forget her name. She's not important because she got her ass beat. But like things like that, people will have you thinking that that's how we act in real life. Yeah.
But I feel like this year we've gotten to see, at least, especially for me, some of like the black female friendship that I've seen on TV or seen in movies, between this season of Insecure and then Netflix doing us a solid and dropping all the shows on Netflix.
For real.
Girlfriends, Moesha, The Parkers is coming up, Half and Half, like all these shows where the focus is black female friendships at different stages too. We have high school, and then we also have adulthood going into it.
I mean, for me, this is interesting because the friends that I had in middle school are not the friends that I had in high school, and the friends I have in high school I don't talk to anymore. Like I only talk to the friends that I made in college, which for a lot of people is strange. Like a lot of people, I would say, still have friends from high school or from their younger years. I literally have none. And I have some pretty close friends in middle school and high school, and you think, oh, we're gonna be best friends forever. Don't talk to none of them people no more. And it's not even like no love lost, but once I went to college, it was just kind of like, oh, I met the people I met in college and just ended up, now they're my lifelong friends. So I don't really have anybody that knew me when I was like younger, except for I was in this program called TAS when I was 16. And so like some of those people are some of my best friends. My partner, I met him in that program, and clearly we're still friends and, lovers. So
tell me again.
So, like I know people from that program, but that was like different than like people I actually went to high school with, because I didn't go to high school with any of those people.
So it's a little bit different for me because the friends that I had growing up, we all went to the same school from kindergarten to 8th grade. And we were all, it was like the same in our class, the same 50. I still remember it was 52 of us. So those kind of like bonded that. And I have 2 friends still from there. I have my friends from high school. One of my best friends is still from high school. And then like you, I would say the bulk of my friends have been from undergrad. And then a few have kind of sprinkled on after that, kind of into adulthood that I would consider have been friends. Those are definitely far and few between as far as making close friendships as an adult. But I also feel like too, like I'm at my limit for friendships. I'm good at the number.
Like I'm good. I don't need any more.
I'm good at the number that I have now, because I can manage that as well. But I would say those friendships that have carried on into adulthood, it's nice because those friends, for some of my friends, they've known me since first grade, so they've seen really the entire evolution of Dayna. And they see aspects. I feel like sometimes when I say that I'm shy, people who know me in my adulthood are like, what are you talking about? But the people who've known me since I was little was like, no, she's definitely like grown and gotten out of her shell more.
I mean, well, I hope that you weren't the same Dayna that you were in first grade. I'm just going to put that out there.
You know what the fuck I mean. Like, you know.
I'm just saying, I just really would have hoped.
You know.
No, but I understand what you mean. I mean, for me, I don't know if it's like a segment, like I kind of segment my friends a lot. So like there's no one person that knows me from first grade, or that could say, other than like my sister, literally people that are blood related to me, could say like, oh, I know how Nina was when she was 9 years old. Like I just don't have friends like that.
One thing that you do, and I think that you do it well though, is the different areas of friends that you have now in your adulthood. Like, oh yeah, you're able
I'm queen of that.
You're able to mix them. Like I know all your friends, you know, and it's like, oh no, I actually know them. I could point them out. It's not just, oh, you mentioned a name here or there, like from each of the different areas.
Yeah, because it's like my college friends, and then I have my LA friends, but my LA friends are also segmented, so it's like the people I went to grad school with. So it's like I clearly spent a lot of time with them, and then it's like the people that I didn't go to grad school with, but I was still hella cool with in LA, like some of my best friends. And then it's like, oh, I have work friends, right? Like the people that I've worked with that I've become close with. They happen to be black, so that's why they're my work friends, because I say no to coworkers all the time, but that's a whole nother conversation. And yeah, so I'm like the queen of like, when it's my birthday, I'm like, I'm inviting my segments of friends that usually don't interact with each other on like a super regular basis, but like when it's Nina's birthday, they can come together and they're hella cool, because I like to look at similar personalities, even though like my work friends are not going to necessarily, be talking to my LA friends every day, but when they're in the same room, they're like cool with each other, and they're like, oh yeah, hey, how have you been? like that. So,
and it gets consistent at
nice.
A certain point. It's not like every 2 months you're popping up with a completely different set of twins, a completely different set of friends. So it's also like, oh, if I've known you for the last 5 years and I've been to different events, I'm going to see another one of your friends and kind of interact. And it's not going to be any, drama or anything like that.
Yeah, absolutely not.
Yeah. How do you think, kind of going back to the shows that we've seen different black female friendships, and even in some of the shows, like even some of the women are friends with black men. How do you think the shows have really portrayed friendship, or do you feel like you can see yourself or your friendships kind of in these different shows?
Well, okay, let's stay with Moesha for a second, because that's like early not childhood, for like teenage years. Moesha's fucking annoying. So I see nothing. I have nothing in common. Like, I just find that to be super annoying. So like when it comes to like looking at that as an example, even growing up, I didn't like, I was like, she's such a terrible friend. And rewatching it just solidified, even as an adult, Moesha was a terrible friend. So I was never really like that, or like, identified with that. But like watching something like Girlfriends, right, as an adult, as a 30-year-old, I'm like, oh, like I totally see how like I might be the Joan in certain situations, or in other friend groups like I'm the Tony, or and then in other friend groups like I'm never the Lynn, you know, but but you know what I mean, like I can totally see that.
I would have definitely, Moesha would have definitely been one of those friends that I left at that like portion of time in life. She would have not been a friend that I carried on into adulthood. We probably would have like intersected and maybe shared notes in like an AP class or some shit like that. But I don't think we would have been. I would have definitely probably been closer friends with Niecy and Kim, just because they were more fun. But yeah, to your point, I definitely think Girlfriend shows a more realistic view. But hands down, I feel like Insecure displays the nuance of the friendships, especially in
this season was so good.
Especially in this season, it's like it was borderline a little bit triggering for me of seeing the. And I feel like even at some points of the season, I'm talking to the screen like, if y'all bitches just don't talk to each other.
Yeah, communication, Lord.
Yes.
Well, see, and so we may be the opposite on this too, because it's like, for some of that stuff, I think I'm pretty good at communicating with my friends. It's not too often that I'm upset with anyone. Like, but I just don't operate like that. I don't know if it's like a personality thing or I'm just lucky, but there hasn't been too many times at least with my female friends that we've bumped heads. Mm-hmm. And if we have, I've been very direct, like, you made me mad when, or bitch, why did you do that? Mm-hmm. But other than that, like the friendship that Issa and Molly have, although I understand it because I know people like that and I know friendships like that, I personally don't have any friendships like that. So that I think that's kind of like a wall for me, because I'd be like, why the fuck didn't they just talk? Why is there so much miscommunication? Like, just say what the fuck you gotta say.
Or your friends are still operating with like an older version of you than like the more up-to-date version, because it seemed like both of them were trying to change in the midst of their miscommunication, and still operating on like, well, Issa, you used to be the bum. Like, I'm used to you not having your shit together, so how dare you now have your shit together, or at least trying to get your shit together. So it kind of played into jealousy, insecurity within friendships, and I don't know. Maybe it's also the type of friends that I attract, where it's not.
I was just about to say that. I don't know. Really, I mean, like, I know people, mind you, I know people like that, but do I consider them to be like best friends or like really close friends? No. Yeah. No. I stay away from it. I mean, people come to me for advice, you know, of course, and I'll say like, don't do that, or don't fuck him, or, you know, like, why are you dating him?
Well, why don't you ask why? Nah, I don't want to ask. I think one thing that's different from my friends compared to the four of them on Girlfriends was they were chasing niggas way more than my friends, of like trying to have a boyfriend, trying to get married. And I just don't think that's at the fore. Like my friends be chasing dick, but not like trying to be in a relationship or trying to be married.
I know some of your friends. I think you too close to the situation. Women talk about men a lot, because I'm one of those women who like are like, do we really have to talk about men right now? Or like, yeah. And I'm not free of that critique either. I think I have to push myself to be like, yeah, why are we talking? Like, we're literally always talking about
on the same level as Girlfriends. Every single episode mention.
Well, I mean, every movie and every, you know, TV show is just, of course, it lays it on thick, but I think it's a mirror.
Yeah.
I think it's a mirror. I think, especially in our in our 20s, I definitely think the same type of conversations were being had. I definitely think they were.
But yeah, how do you feel on these shows with, I guess specifically Moesha and girlfriends, with the platonic friendships with Hakeem and with William?
Yeah,
and they both tried
this is interesting.
Both shows
they
tried
both.
it.
Well, even on Sister, which we didn't mention.
Oh, right. Yep.
Because it's not necessarily about friendship, but whatever. Like Lisa and Ray being forced to have this awkward relationship. It was like written into the story, and it just didn't make sense. They did the same thing with Moesha and Hakeem, and the same thing with William and Joan. And so I'm like, so that made me think, like, can you not have a platonic relationship with somebody of the, you know, the gender or sex that you're attracted to? I think you can, but I also have a lot of gay male friends. So it's like, I also have straight male friends that I would never consider dating, that are my homeboys, like, that we catch up, like, we're cool. I've been to their weddings, or like talk to them about relationships that they're in. So like, it's possible for me, but I wonder, like, for other people, is there like a gray area or something? Because it's like, if you were looking at TV, like, oh, do we have, like, just because I have this male friend in my life, like, do I have to fuck them or date them at some point? TV will have you thinking yes.
Yeah. I think TV will have you thinking, and even with the same logic as Joan and William, of like, we could be soulmates because we work so well as friends.
Yeah.
But you can also, could just
sense.
be friends. Like, and
you also could just be friends.
That be the end of it.
Yeah.
I have straight male friends, and they're just that, like, my male friends. I don't, like, I get why other people find them attractive, and they are attractive, but it's not in the way that I would ever want to date them. I guess I would rather bank on the guarantee of a dope ass friendship for life than the possibility of like a mediocre sex or love life with them.
Yeah. I've never thought about fucking any of my male friends, like, not even once.
No. Not my real friends. No. Yeah, but I would hope.
Oh, you know what? That's a lie. I told a lie. I have. But hold on, I had to think about it. Okay. So there's been one situation, but clearly no. I mean, that did not end up working out, but it's happened to me once.
Okay, so now I need to backtrack. But we were
and we're moving on.
I need to backtrack, but we were never actually friends. Like, that was just the guys to set the scene up. We were not like real friends. So there's that. But like the true, real, genuine friendships of like, who knows my mama? Like, those are my friends. Those are my friends for life.
Yeah. So I personally think you can have platonic relationships with people of the sex that you would be attracted to, but you know, for some people that's hard. I mean, they're like, oh no, like, I have all female friends, or I have all male friends for that reason. I think it's possible, but you know, everybody's different.
So to that point of kind of having those good friendships, both with the same sex or with friends that you're platonic with, what to you now, as a 30-year-old going into your 30s, do you think makes a good friend?
For me personally, like, for me personally, what makes a good friend is being supportive. And support, I mean, like, if I need emotional support, although I've never asked a friend for money, like, if I need financial support within reason, like, just someone, like, if I needed something, I know I could go to them, because I don't ask for things lightly. You can ask anybody in my life. Like, I could probably name on, like, my two hands how many times I've actually asked somebody to do me a favor or to do something for me or to give me something. But to know that, I guess, really what it like comes down to is reliability. Like, I like people who are reliable, because I'm a reliable person, and so I want that in the same part in like my friendships. But then also, I am not a clingy friend. And I don't even mean that. Clingy sounds negative, but like, I'm not the friend who needs to talk to you every day. In fact, please don't call me every day. Those types of friendships to me take a lot of energy that I just don't have. So I like friends who understand, like, if we go a week without talking, it, like, I don't need you being like, did I do something wrong? Are you mad at me? Like, no. Like, if I had something, because
if I was mad, I would say it.
Right. If I was upset with you, I would say it. And two, if there was something important for me to say to you, like if I saw a meme every day for 7 days that I thought would be funny and shared it with you, I would do that. Right. I would be in your inbox. But if I have nothing to say, it's okay. We don't have to talk right now. Like, you know, but I like catching up with my friends. But you know what, in my adult life, like especially after grad school, I had some friends, you know, because my personality is like, once I'm really into work, my work life has been, I'm trying to get out of it, really important to me, and was always like put first. And I had friends tell me like, yo, that's not gonna work for me. And I respected it, right? I respected it in the sense, not like, oh girl, why are you worried about work? But like, you're this type of way because Nina operates in that type of way, and so operates in a different way. So if we're gonna be friends, meet me in the middle. And so what I started to do, once I heard that feedback, is be like, okay, let me be more intentional about checking in, about calling, about carving out those times for like those 2-hour conversations. And have it not feel like being pulled teeth. And I would say I liked that kind of direct, like, hey, I understand that you have a way of operating and that you don't need to be talked to at a certain amount of time, but I'm an extrovert. Like, I want to be able to talk to you. I want to be able to bounce ideas off of you. And I need you to come out of your cocoon for me to do that. And so in my adult life, I've adjusted to being more thoughtful about how I approach those types of friendships, because clearly those are friendships that I appreciate, people I love, and relationships that I have to cultivate. And even romantic or non-romantic relationships, you have to meet people in the middle if you actually care about them. So I've learned that. So I would say those are probably like the top 2 things.
Makes sense.
What about you?
I think for me now, it's someone who I can be my whole self with, like, and just be me unapologetically. And I think kind of what you were touching on, part of that is to knowing me and understanding me, to know that if I'm not calling you every day and there is no beef, then there is no beef. You know, it's just, and similar to you, like, bogged down with work. My career or my various roles have been time consuming. I also, since undergrad, have not lived in the same time zone state part of the country as the majority of my close friends. So a lot of it is more so carving out time to be intentional. And like, I'm also more of a in-person friend than just sitting and talking on the phone. Granted, I do sit and talk on the phone for hours, but that's never my intention going into a phone call. It's just, you know, as you're with friends, you may sit and talk. And I think too, even time, so even if it's not like every week, but I have some friends where maybe every 4 months where we sit up and catch up, or, you know, kind of, or the important things of like, no, I didn't know that that you stumped your toe, but I know the major things that are happening in your life, and you know, or it's like, let me call so-and-so. We haven't talked in so long, or I realized I didn't know whatever happened to this. So kind of allowing me to be my whole self. Also, they got to be doing something with their life. And it kind of, I guess that would tie to ambition too. 'Cause I need my friends that are my real friends. They definitely hold me accountable. And I think they're able to do that because they're doing similar things. So whether it be career-wise, they may be in a completely different field, but they're very driven. So even like similar to us, we're in two completely different fields, but we're both driven and have, this is what I want to do. This is what I'm going after.
Right.
This is how I'm going to get it done. I can bounce ideas off of you, but at the same time, like I can go ghost for a while because, you know, like I'm focusing on kind of getting what I need to. And the majority of my friends are funny, whether it's me laughing with them or at them. It's just bringing humor and a good time. I don't need too serious, you know, or too boring in that sense of like a lack of personality. And yeah, like, so whole self, funny, can hold me accountable, have similar interests. We don't have to have everything in common, because I think too, from both friendships, relationships in general, so whether it's family, romantic, platonic, whatever, having people around to teach you things or put you on things. So even in that sense, kind of, you know, liking that. And then I think too, kind of how we were saying with like different phases in your life of friendships, I think it's okay to have friends for certain things. You know, like the more
absolutely
social friends, like when we go out, we doing this, versus I have friends who all we do is talk about music because I'm a big music lover, or I have friends who we talk about like different TV shows or types of movies. My go-to friends of like when Beyonce drops tickets, Boy Darian knows, like, no matter what cost, no matter where, what city we're going.
Can you clarify Boy Darian?
So I have a friend who's a boy whose name is Darian, and then we also have in our friend group in Chicago a girl whose name is Darian. So
she says Boy Darian or Girl Darian,
to
just for the folks at home.
Yeah, thank you. So yeah, kind of having those different areas of friends, I think that's perfectly fine too, because not everyone is going to be your everything.
No,
and,
I think that's
everything.
Key. I think that's key, and I think that's the difference between being friends like high school and middle school. It's like, oh, we go everywhere together. We're gonna go to the mall, go to the movies. We're gonna go do
Why
this,
don't you want to do this?
that.
Why don't you want to do that with me?
Right, girl, I'm not that friend.
Yeah.
Don't call me to go camping. I'm not going. I'm not that friend. Call me to go to the spa. I'm that friend.
I will say too.
Call me to go eat. I'm that friend.
I will say too. We talk about the lack of drama that we've had in our friendships, and what I see with other people in their friendships is I'm blessed enough that me and my friends do not have the same taste in niggas. So it's never been any type of maybe a universal, oh, he cute. But like going after or wanting the same nigga to pursue, like, no.
I like lame niggas.
I like dorky niggas.
No.
Yeah.
I don't need nobody all up in the mix. No.
Yeah.
I like mine ugly. No. Bad built. Ain't no competing.
I just said dorky.
And they take care of you too.
I'm shallow as fuck. I just said dorky.
I'm just playing.
I know.
Baby, if you're listening to this, I love you. I think you fine.
Have you ever, I guess in the same sense of kind of growing apart, lost touch with a friend or fell out?
Oh,
I know you
absolutely.
said younger, but in adulthood kind of fell out or lost touch with friends?
You know, I'm trying to think in adulthood. I guess, yes, and like from college. After college, I guess so, yeah, because when you move and you go around different places, it's not like, oh, I hate that person, but it's just like, oh, we just don't talk as much, or, you know, we don't, because our friendship was like, oh, let's hang out a lot, and if I'm not physically there, then we're not hanging out as much, so it's like I have to put a little bit more effort into like, oh, let's get on the phone and stuff like that. Again, still really good friend, but, you know, just a little bit more distant. or we just don't talk at all, but that doesn't mean we have any beef or anything. It's just like some friendships are just like that, and I've accepted it, and I don't feel bad about it. It's just it is what it is. I don't think I have any animosity towards it. I think when I was younger, I was a little like my very best friend of high school literally just stopped talking to me. What was that, senior year? She like blocked me one day on like Facebook, and then we just like never talked. I still to this day don't know why she stopped being my friend. Would really be interested to hear that story.
If you are that friend, feel free to send in the reason.
I would love to hear. I mean, I would love to hear it.
queentonepod@gmail.com.
Yeah, hit me up. You know who you are. Yeah, but other than that, like, yeah, well, I've had friends who I've grown apart from, but like, again, no love lost. Like, if they were to call me tomorrow, like, I'd be, oh, hey, how you doing? How's life? How's the last 4 years been? Oh, goodness. What about you?
Aside from, I guess if there's categories, there are friends who just as like the next phase of life has gone on, you kind of lose like close touch, but because of social media, like we're still connected. So it's oh, happy birthday, you had a kid, I'm so happy, blah blah blah. I have friends like that. But I have had close friends, 2 of them. One, or at least on my end, is no love lost. I think we were in a friend group and she had issues with other people in the group, but we went to different colleges and they all went to the same college, so it was kind of, at least from my view, she kind of was done with the whole group, and I was just a casualty.
Collateral damage, yeah.
But to my fault, I also didn't make any type of effort to keep that connection too. But if you, like, even now, there's no particular thing that happened that was like, here's the end. But to that same point, I think I'm blocked too. So maybe... So maybe it was some animosity on her end.
Yeah,
but there
might have been.
And like I guess so. One of our mutual friends was like, "Hey, did you see so and so this on Facebook?" And I'm like, "No, I didn't see that." And then when
you go look for her Twitter, it's like these tweets are not available.
Right. I'm like, oh, okay. Like, and I'm just not the type of person to be getting blocked like that all willy nilly. But then other...
Me neither, but I also am like, if you blocked me, I absolutely do not care. Because I probably have not noticed.
Yeah, like I didn't make effort to maintain the friendship, so it's like, whatever. But if I saw her on the street or whatever, at least on my end, there would be no love lost. You know, what have you been doing for the last 7 years? But then in that same friend group, there was a friend who I'm good on ever interacting or hearing anything about them. More so because of the way in which the friendship ended. It was through a Facebook message to like me plus another 2 of our friends in a group. And she basically sent extended paragraphs for each of us with the reasons that she was ending the friendship. And for me, I won't go into the reasons.
That takes a lot of effort.
It does. And
I mop the ocean before I do some shit like that.
Yeah.
Y'all will, let me tell you about me. If I ever am mad at you enough to stop being your friend, you will never know why. Oh, I guess that's why. That might be why.
Maybe y'all should have stayed friends because y'all similar.
Maybe we should have. Yeah, because you would literally never. I would never put that much effort into telling and like disassociating myself with someone. That's so much.
3 dissertations in a group chat on each friend.
Hell no.
And mine was things that happened in the past that she never addressed. So even like how we talked about past, if I have an issue with you, I'll come and talk to you. If it's not immediate, then it's when I'm more calm and kind of more level-headed. But for her, it was things like, my aunt died and I posted on Instagram and you didn't say anything about it. Like, we're fucking friends. And this is how I didn't see, things like that. And then even all of that, because I feel like all of that could have been resolved from like, she even said I chose my line sisters over her, which is completely false because I even asked my other friends in the group. But clearly I made the right choice if it was a choice.
I I mean, here we are.
Right, because they're family and she's of nothing. But what killed me, and I think we've talked about this in separate conversations, was she sent us a memo. It wasn't a conversation. There was no dialogue back and forth. She had already decided that this friendship was ending.
Yeah.
So
she just wanted to get the last word.
Yeah, and it's like you sent it in a group message, so then it was just all very controlling, very tied to how she wanted it to be, and that was the end. So it's like, if you already decided this, I'm not about to change your mind.
It's literally no arguing with it. And if you trying to evoke emotion out of me, good fucking luck.
Yeah. And it was days before I went into having a major surgery too. So it was also like a
fuck that.
Yeah. So if I ever saw her, I would probably keep walking, just because there's nothing. I think too, now, kind of to the point of how we were saying before, of we don't talk as often, or like being able to see each other in person. I think when it starts off, when it's a fresh friendship in adulthood, it is like more of an effort. So I even, and nothing against any of like the friends I've made as adults, but it is a conscious effort of like, okay, let me not cancel. Nothing against them. It's just, I like being at home, right?
Because it's different when it's like, oh, I'm in grad school, or oh, I'm in college. Like, we're going to be in the same classes. We're going to be in the same area. Like, I don't really have my own life or bills to pay.
Yeah.
But it's like, oh, I could go outside, or I could sit on my couch
but
with my puppy.
What ends up, the friends who end up being friends feel that exact same way too. You know, so it's like we gonna try this another week.
It's been hard. I mean, I just moved to Chicago in February of 2019, and it's been extremely hard for me to like make friends here. One, because I think I'm just attached to the friends that I have, who are amazing, and I don't really like, I'm good. Like, in theory, like, it's like, oh, I'm good. Like, I have friends, but I'm also like, dang, I miss the random Friday night hangouts, you know, where people would come to my apartment, or be like, oh, I'm driving past, you know, are you at home? And like, just come over, we get some Wingstop and like chill.
Yeah, that's the number one thing probably in watching like Girlfriends and Insecure. And I'm like, man, my close road dog type friends don't live. Like, no one's just randomly coming. As many times as them niggas was in Jones' house, no one's randomly popping up at my house, because it's not, you know,
in the same state.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I think, and we should note too, majority of the time that we've moved around, we didn't have roommates, except for, I lived in Chicago with one of our other line sisters, Simhar, but I was a consultant. I was there 2 days out the week. She was like, I saw her more in our group chat than actually in our house.
In real life?
Literally in real life. So for the most part too, that kind of aspect of having friends around all the time, for me, hasn't happened since undergrad. Of all my friends are
Well, no, it happened for me in LA actually. When I was in LA, I would have friends over. I mean, clearly not like all the time, but because of the I was centrally located amongst my friends, so it was like, oh, we're gonna have, you know, the pregame before the whatever. It was at my house, or like a UFC game, it was at my house. You know, like it was just easy. For everything to be kind of like where I was, or even one of my best friends has a pool, so I was like, oh, pool party, like we going to the South Bay. Like, it was just easy to do that.
I lied. I lied. There was a moment, summer 16, when I was in Chicago and I wasn't traveling, and I feel like the stars just aligned, and one of our college friends moved to Chicago. It was the summer, and we were literally, our apartment was like the pregame place, so every Friday we were going to happy hour or going to day parties. Like, it was like that from May to Labor Day in September, and that was wonderful. It was so much fun. So I would say that with adulthood, mostly on weekends, every now and then during the week, but mostly on weekends. And that was nice. But that doesn't happen now.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's just something that we have to accept as we go into our 30s, that's no longer our lives. And also, I will say, we both don't have kids.
Yeah.
And our friends are starting to get married and have children, which really puts a damper on things.
Yeah. Love the babies to death.
Love them.
Love the
They
spouses.
can't come to the bar. So
Right.
there's that. So yeah, it changes dynamics of things when you have friends who have families and you're still the unmarried, childless one.
Mm-hmm.
You can kind of get up and do things on a moment's notice that, you know, you got to find a babysitter, or your priorities are just different when you have a family.
Yeah.
And usually if you have alone time, you want to spend it at home. Like if you don't have kids, you be like, damn, I really just want to be like in my bed without a kid jumping on it. So there's also that. I do think that, you know, once friend groups start to like divide in that way, I think the priorities are different, which is not a bad thing.
Yeah.
Not saying that
like
in a
Tiffany
bad way at all.
And Insecure.
Exactly. I mean, that was kind of a sad example, but it's kind of like,
Fuck them kids.
if Tiffany has a group of friends that are moms, and they're going to be hanging out, and they're going to be, you know, going to a cabin in Michigan and hanging out together.
Yeah.
And then, you know, the rest of them are not going to be invited, and that's okay.
Yeah. I will say, as far as like the different phases of life, whether, you know, friends having kids or getting married, or, you know, wanting to be out and about doing whatever, going back to what we see on TV, I feel like the unmarried non-mothers are they seem a lot more meaner or less willing to accept like the change in their friend's life than, at least from what I've seen. I would have to ask.
It always does seem like that on TV.
Yeah, I would have to ask like my friends who have kids if on their end it's changed. But I feel like you're my friend, so then when you procreate and have kids, then they become part of you. You know, like when you get married, that becomes part of you. And I want to be your friend and want to be involved in your life. So now this is your life. What we do will then have to change, but that's not.
I'm not gonna hold you up. I don't really like kids that much.
Yeah, that's the
anybody in my life knows this.
Yeah, I know. We know.
So like, not like, I don't want to hang out with you and your kids. Not for an extended period of time, but that's just me. I know I'm gonna get hate mail. Go ahead, at me.
But your friends who are your friends know that about you, and
if you my friend though, you know, like I'm gonna play with your baby for all of 5 to 10 minutes, and then I'm gonna be like, all right, I have to go.
Yeah. But your friends know. At least you're consistent.
I'm very consistent. Shit, I do. I have a niece and a nephew. Do you know I hold them for about 10 minutes apiece? And then I'm like, all right, so what's next? Who else is holding?
You're consistent though.
I am.
I'll introduce you to my kid when they like 10 or 11 and can have a conversation.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Intellectual conversation.
Absolutely. And even then it's just
or
really like, look at me.
Yeah, like
look at this, look at me do this dance move. Right. All right, Timmy, we saw you doing a cartwheel. Go in your room. I'm terrible. I know. I'm terrible. It's okay. I'm that friend. All right, so we're going to go ahead and wrap up the show. We're going to end each show with a tone check where we ask people to check themselves and not our tones. So this week on our tone checklist is Tory Lanez. See what I did there? Tory Lanez. Y'all know who this nigga is.
You know, he started off quarantine when he was doing whatever he was doing on like Instagram lives, and he was even kind of advocating of like why we shouldn't be harping on the looters and the rioters and all that type of stuff. And even like, he's Canadian too? He was adding insight into that.
Yeah, he from Toronto. Mm-hmm.
And so that was like my first like, oh, this seems like a decent nigga. He seems aware of things. And then he showed his ass when Meg Thee Stallion was shot by him.
Right. She literally said, that nigga shot me.
Yes. After she tried not to tell the police for fear of, and what happens to black women a lot, fear of, whatever he did, he's also black, and I don't want the police to get involved for the sake of him.
Right. She saved that man's life, even though he shot her.
Yes.
And then this week, he decides to release a mixtape, an album, some shit after months of speculation, after, Meg again said, this nigga shot me. That's a direct quote.
After Meg had to get on the internet and explain what happened, because so many people on the internet was not standing up for her. No type of black male artist, anything of the such. It was all, we got to hear both sides. We got to hear both sides. Because once again,
I hate a both sides nigga.
Who believes black women?
Yes. So he released his mixtape, and no, I did not stream it. But from what I read, making contradictory statements about, I didn't shoot you, I was upset, or it was a mistake, or whatever the fuck it was. I don't care what he put on that fucking record. Nobody should have streamed it. It's hot garbage. All you need to do, and it's completely free, is to shut the fuck up.
Yes.
That's it. Either apologize or shut the fuck up.
And he drops the album the day of or the day after the Breonna Taylor disappointing
verdict,
but not shocking
non-verdict. Yeah.
So it's already, tensions are high, levels are high, whatever. And then for him to go and drop this to get publicity to explain his side of it.
Trash. Garbage. Yeah. So Tory Lames.
But shout out
to
the artists and the media publications who are choosing not to include him.
Oh, absolutely.
I think JoJo took him off a song for her deluxe album.
Yeah, Kalani took him off a song. Yeah.
I think there was
the people with sense.
Yeah, the people with sense, or even publications. I forgot which ones, but saying like, we don't have to ever cover him again.
Yes. I need to find that petition that people were signing to deport him, because honestly, if Trump is looking for anybody to deport, he's first in line. All right, well, that's the end of our first episode. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Please like and subscribe, and leave us a comment.
This episode was produced by us and edited by Dayna Cole. Our theme music is the track Same by Ricky Els. Be sure to check it out on all streaming platforms. For questions, comments, feedback, or topic suggestions, hit us up at queentonepod@gmail.com. Be sure to also check us out and follow on Instagram and Twitter @queentonepod. Thanks for listening.